Hey, it's all about quality, not about quantity. Right? Let's get back to another round of Brewsday Tuesday with DreZ and Big Nate.
Once again, I'm popping bottles and you're popping tops. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg, where all of these pumpkin beers can be purchased, because that's where I purchase them, unless they're sold out. I guess they could be gone by now.
True.
It has been a couple weeks since I got these bad
They're
boys.
getting their Christmas beers in. Mikey wouldn't do that to us.
Yeah, I think he's a bit more strategic with his stuff. But all right, so I just popped from Ale Works. I believe this is the one Virginia brewery that we have on this week's show. Ale Works seasonal selection. Their pumpkin. It's a spiced amber ale with natural flavors. So I'm pretty excited to try an amber pumpkin beer. I'm pretty sure I've probably had this year after year. I'm pretty sure this is not their first time doing it. What I did notice, though, is the first time I've seen Williamsburg, Virginia, posted written like that. It says WMBGVA. Have you ever seen?
We just got to abbreviate everything.
Yeah, but so I was like, that looks like Williamsburg, and I was like, of course it is. 7.3%. So sticking with, I guess these pumpkin ales just tend to have bigger ABVs. I think you actually have the smallest one right there.
It's interesting. Amber ale is the style I'm more intrigued by, but Dogfish Head, man, I do love a Dogfish Head beer. This is their pumpkin ale, the brown ale brewed with pumpkin and spices, 7% ABV. So we're right on line with the first segment, but the artwork is just beautiful. It's their off-centered art series, and you got this crazy little like flower demon, and there's a lot going on in this can, all kinds of crazy bugs, and of course you got a pumpkin and a fish, because pumpkins and fish mingle together often. And the art made by Natalia Balnova. I don't know a lot about her art, but I will do some research afterwards. I'm more right now intrigued with the beer. So we're going to find out.
So you might have noticed the general rule of thumb that we like to try and do on Brewsday is you try not to drink. If it's a beer we've done on the show, you try not to drink it again. However, that's always not the case when it comes to the pumpkin beers or the season. Like we always get the 2020 whatever insert year here Mad Elf for when Christmas rolls around. So that's usually the case when it comes to these pumpkin beers. I'm sure we've done the, like I mentioned, the Ale Works maybe last year, but I don't know if I've had the Dogfish Head pumpkin. Like when I saw that label, maybe it's just because they change the artwork every year, but I saw that label and it didn't look familiar to me at all. So that one really jumped out.
Well, it's also interesting because with the seasonal beers like pumpkin and the Mad Elf and stuff like that, they very much so
they can change.
They can change, exactly. So I like that they put what year it is on there and really want to hammer home that this one also has the best by date being December 2023. So obviously they don't expect a long shelf life. I mean, it's a brown ale, but yeah, I do think no two pumpkins are the same.
I was trying to find a date on this Ale Works. Oh, here it is down here. Or those are just a bunch of numbers. So I don't see a date on this one. But we mentioned, did I mention the date on the air for the last round? Did we do that, or did we talk about that?
We did not. We talked about that between.
Okay, yeah. So yours was from, or no, mine was from July.
Mine was from March.
And the Left Hand Brewing Company one was from March. And another thing that happened while we were playing the pumpkin song was, and this might be a first for Brewsday Tuesday, you gave that beer a 5.
Mm-hmm.
The Left Hand Brewing Company's Pumpkin Spice Latte. He gave it a 5, which is the highest score you can give a beer on this show. And I couldn't even finish it. I couldn't even finish the half that you left for me. I gave it to you because...
What are you going to score it?
That, no joke, is probably going to be in the 2s for me, which is pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing I was thinking. That is probably the biggest score disparity we've ever had on the 8 years that we've been doing this show.
And I stand by my 5, and
I can't.
I'm intrigued to know. Like, 5. I can't figure out.
That beer was disgusting to me.
I can't figure out what you. I mean,
it just
you don't love
I don't
coffee.
I don't like
but-
anything about it. It didn't taste like coffee.
No,
did
it didn't taste
and-
like coffee, so I can't even pin
And
it on that.
you did mention a cream ale, and I looked. It doesn't say cream ale anywhere on there, but it did mainly taste like it was a cream ale, which I'm not a big fan of. But my gosh, I could not.
No.
I couldn't even drink it.
Which meant more for me, so I'm not going to complain. But
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give that thing a 2 or something
All
like
right.
that. That was not for me.
I stand by my 5, but I do find that fascinating because there's nothing in there that I could see being, and that's why I got a 5. Nothing I could see being horribly off-putting. I mean, I don't even love pumpkin.
It's just so
and I thought
funny.
it was
We're
delicious.
both, as we're talking about it, we're both just looking
Just
over
looking at the can.
over in the corner of the studio. Like I'm just looking over, judging it. Like, look at that thing. He's looking at it with lusty eyes, and I'm looking at it like disgusted. Oh my gosh.
The only thing that would have made me remotely knock the score down is the fact that it's not a full pint, and there's no
With the
nitro
nitro.
ball in there. But I
No,
thought
yeah,
it was
we
delicious.
did discover it didn't have the little widget nitro ball thing. But like you said, I guess because most of the nitros are like that. It must have something to do with they need to leave that space and they find a new way to can it where maybe they do some type of almost sealing, pump some nitro in. You got to leave a little room for the nitro, perhaps. I don't know.
I also lined up with your 4 1/4 on the Schlafly. I
Yeah,
think
the
that's spot on.
Schlafly was and that is just a damn good brewery pronunciation. It's just a good name.
Schlafly.
And I think we did go to Schlafly, if I'm not mistaken. That's St. Louis, right?
Yes.
I think we did go there. We walked there. We walked through St. Louis to get to Schlafly, which
It's not a bad little walk. St. Louis is a
have you been
cool
to St.
city.
Louis?
Yeah.
So St. Louis is one of those cities where it was a little rough around the edges. Like if you looked around, you'd be like, am I safe here? But everyone we met was so awesome.
Yeah.
And I did like that. It reminds me of Pittsburgh. It's like Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh. I was thinking Pittsburgh or Cincinnati. There's very like
I could kind of
it's
see that
like
too.
everybody's kind of working class, but it's the people that make the
Mm-hmm.
city a lot of the times. Pittsburgh I love as well. But,
Yeah,
we always a good time.
St.
But yeah,
Louis-
St. Louis is
St. Louis
cool
is good.
town.
Yeah, no doubt. No diggity. So, one of the things I need to talk about with you, good sir, because
After you lectured me on my terrible
that was
5 for
that was-
pumpkin, I stand by it.
as soon as I sipped it, I was like, either we have just completely different because it's so
I-
we usually see eye to eye on a lot of stuff.
I had stepped out of the room for a second and
couldn't
he
believe
came
it.
back. He looked almost angry at me.
I could not believe that you gave that a 5. I know you're generous with your scores, but man, you don't got to sugarcoat that. That is disgusting beer. I don't know. Sorry. That's just not my cup of tea. Obviously other people like it. So actually I would encourage everybody go get a can and see which side of the fence you
We'll do a
fall on.
poll.
Now I would be interested to hear.
Announce the results on Halloween.
So Halloween, you mentioned it. 1 week from today. It falls on a Tuesday. So you do feel like, and I know on the show we've dressed up even when it hasn't fallen on a Tuesday, but you feel like we need to.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we talked about this on air, but we had already planned some outfits. Should we say what we were going to do? I don't know. I guess we could, because I don't know if we're going to do it now. Because I thought I had a very important part of the costume, but now I can't find it. So maybe I don't have it, and I don't know if I have time to order it.
Oh,
I know in this day and age, 2-day shipping, but it's not really 2-day shipping. And I don't want to put all our eggs in that basket.
I was so excited for it.
Me too. But
Yeah,
I might, but I hate it. I had it. I know I had it because I've done this with another buddy of mine, and I bought the thing that you need to get right, and I have it, or I had it, and I had it for years, and now I can't find it. So it's like, do I buy another one? I mean, I guess I could perhaps, but will it get here in time?
Well, so you wouldn't just be breaking my heart. My wife is very excited for the costume
Oh,
we have
really?
planned. So I might have to do some digging this week, see if
All
I
right.
can't track something down.
All right. Well, no, I mean, let me do one last skirch of the basement tonight. And if I can't find it, I'll look online and see if I can get one here in time. And buy it again.
My costume's like pressed and ready and hanging.
You
up in
already
the
got
closet.
everything you need.
I didn't even have to. Well, I did have to go somewhere, but for one thing, and it was the least important part.
I'll make it happen. All right. Never mind. We won't divulge We won't divulge the plan.
That's so perfect.
It is good. All right, we'll do it. We'll stick with it. All right. Well, I was going to talk about what we could maybe switch it to and what we were going to do. And
I mean, it was your idea.
it was
just
my idea
so
because
genius.
I thought
Yeah,
the key.
it was so genius.
The key item, the one item that's needed. Otherwise, you can make it work. It's not that hard to make the rest of it work, but there's one thing that is imperative, and I had it. I don't know what happened to it.
All right.
I got to find it, or somebody has it, and I'm not going to find it. I'll have to buy another one.
So I know what your standard costume has always been.
Mm-hmm. Not going to be Zorro this year.
I say when not Zorro, what's been your favorite costume?
That's a good one. I do like doing the group things, when it's not just you, when you have a partner in crime or a nice group because then it's like, it's just that much cooler.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
So one year, me and I feel like we've talked about these before, but it's always fun to rehash great Halloween costumes. One time, me and my brother did the Dude and Walter from The Big Lebowski, and his costume was so spot on that I was very, very impressed. And I credit that Halloween because it was a huge gamble, but I had never even had a White Russian before. But what I did was I got the fixings for a White Russian, and we carried it around in a bowling bag with us to all the house parties that we went to. And I started drinking White Russians that night, and I've never looked back. I've always loved a White Russian. So that one certainly does stand out.
All right, I like Walter and the Dude.
That was good.
I'm trying to. I've probably told this.
I do
story,
movies a lot. I like movies because I'm a big movie guy.
I tend to be, and it's weird. As much as I love Halloween, I tend to try and go for minimal effort. There was one Halloween though. It's probably about 6 or 7. I made the newspaper with this costume.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It would. So Fairfax used to have this Halloween costume contest they do for kids in the Dulles Town Center, and my stepmom was like working really hard on this like handcrafted, and like she's like sewing, making patterns and all this stuff. And my stepbrother was Pikachu from Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I, the night before the costume contest, went down to the Wally World and just randomly threw together a dead cowboy, and I took best in show in the costume contest.
Dead cowboy? That's
dead
simple?
Cowboy. It was that simple. Like we took a lighter and burned bullet holes into like the vest I was wearing. I had a hat, a cap gun.
So this is clearly you're playing to your audience. Where this is back home, right?
Yeah.
Rural Virginia. Of course, the dead cowboy is going to win the Halloween costume contest.
I won. I won and the best part was like there was a prize for it. It was a model rocket, and we used it exactly once. Like I think it's still at my dad's house, but I won the model rocket.
You said you used it. So was it one you could shoot off?
Yeah, and they have like different like fuel cartridges you can throw in there, so it's supposed to be reusable. But we did it exactly once. Like it was more fun winning and seeing the look on my stepmother and stepbrother's face. My dad's not super competitive, but about stuff like that,
he was pretty proud. That was a good day. That's awesome. Because I'm sure she was even like, you gotta wait till last minute. You can throw it away. Yeah. How about that one? Dead cowboy.
Still like one of my all-time favorite Halloween stories. It was so dumb.
Oh man, that's good. Well, I'm sure we'll delve into Halloween stories, candies, outfits, all sorts of stuff next week, because that's gonna be a good big
show. And Brewsday Tuesday.
It'll be a booze,
not BOOZE, BOOS.
Brewsday Tuesday. And we will definitely we'll be a bit more chatty, I'm sure, because those beers, like I said, I think we're saving the I was saving the best for last. I was impressed that these ones are pretty up there, but it gets more up there with all the barrel aged and stuff. So I'm saving the best pumpkins for actual Halloween. So let's go ahead and I'm out. I don't know about you, but Airworks Brewing Company's seasonal selection pumpkin. Honestly, this has been the best one so far for me. The last round with the Schlafly. Hands down better than the left hand, but this one is not as sweet. So this one is a beer that I feel like I could grab maybe one or two of these, more than just one, with the sweetness factor being a bit more tame. And I like that it's an amber ale. I feel like when it comes to the pumpkins, I don't know how many of them do it an amber style pumpkin beer, but I like that. I think that's pretty cool. And of course, you get a nice hearty 7.3% ABV. It's checking all the boxes for a good pumpkin beer. This one, I'm going to give it a 4.5. That I'd say this is one of the higher tiers of the pumpkin beers that you can get out there. And it's right here in the Commonwealth, which is great.
Like I said, style wise, I'm pretty excited to try that one. But this pumpkin ale, 7% ABV, brown ale brewed with pumpkin and spices, and it's delicious. I like the artwork. It's obviously a very different beer than the pumpkin spice latte nitro. We're gonna be all fives this show for me, so I'm really intrigued to see what happens after we get off the air.
Do we need to add more? Do we need to rate a higher?
Go all the way to 10?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because there's been times where you've been trying to give more than a 5. It's because you give out 5s so
I
often.
do. Hate
You gotta.
the 5's so limiting.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Because guess what? I guarantee you the beers we're going to be having next week are
Will
going to
be
be
5s.
better than this. And yeah, you're going to give it the same score of a 5. So you might need to recalibrate.
I blame
your scale.
Untapped, and yeah, it's their fault.
It is
Not mine.
all Untapped's fault. There you go, folks. All right. Well, that's a wrap on Brewsday Tuesday. Next week should be fun. I guess we're going to hopefully make the costume thing work. We will see. It'll also be interesting because if I'm going to do it right, I might have to shave.
True. And that's another good point.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I just now thought of that.
Oh boy.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's a teaser for you. You might get a clean shaven DreZ on the next Brewsday Tuesday, which encourages you to watch on the Facebook Live or the YouTube. Of course, we do have them on there. You can watch previous Brewsdays, and they're all online as well at 105throughthebear.com. We will take a quick break, and we'll get back with the tunes right here on 105.3 The Bear. JT's taking over. Oh, see ya.